Oh, hello. Yeah. Well, turned out all late capitalism again, didn't it? Anyway, we might actually get some sunshine for what might amount to a reasonably extended period of time. Yeah, I think my pussy cat, happier though he is still gonna, quite enjoy it. Yeah, I think he's having a good time at the moment, vis-a-vis sunshine and snuggling into, hiding away in the grass, basically. Yeah. Yeah, I do like cats. I do like their maximum levels of self-centeredness and indifference, which is okay because you can micromanage a cat. It's in human beings that I can't stand it because unfortunately you're not realistically allowed to withhold food from them unless you're the Israeli state, of course. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway. I think this week's theme might well be patently stupid stories that the press can't let go of. And we had this in the Telegraph, perhaps inevitably yesterday. Parents pay £500 million to beat private school VAT raid. Labour's tax grab expected to fall short as wealthy families hand over fees in advance. Yeah, it transpires, drum roll, that very rich people, even when they're taxed, can still afford very, very expensive things. Who'd have thought it, eh? Astounding, isn't it? I'm surprised they haven't all gone abroad to Dubai to join Isabel Oakeshott because, who wants to go there? And the answer is Isabel Oakeshott because she only cares about money, money, money and me, as indeed does Richard. Still, never mind, eh? Yeah, anyway, intriguing story in its own right. I have discovered today that, there are some schools that charge more than Eton, yes. And the parents have basically stumped up money up front to the tune of, there we are, 500 million quid. Yeah, nice if you can get it, to make sure that they don't have to pay the VAT, and the schools are going to sit, obviously, on a huge amount of money, and they can buy another swimming pool. Yes, why not, eh? How the other, 0.1% live, effectively. But you may recall that for the last roughly 2 years we've been hearing horror stories, I tell you, about the number of families that are going to go AWOL and basically suffer penury and other things. It's a good word, isn't it? Penury. Because of Labour's VAT tax raid, yes. Yes, it was going to be 100,000. That was the number that the Daily Telegraph, Pieter in the Daily Telegraph, was confidently predicting, basically this time last year, up to, as always, get out of jail free card, up to 100,000, and it transpires nothing like it. But never mind that now, okay? Never mind that now. Yeah, the other thing, of course, that was going to go wrong with it was that it was going to punish the strivers, wasn't it? All of those hard-working families. And we got a number of stories that were, just laughable. Did have to smile at the inevitable made-up photograph and made-up family that somebody managed to get past the Telegraph editor, which they had to then issue a grovelling apology. Not you notice that they'd necessarily got anything wrong with it, but just they couldn't quite verify the patently absurd things that they printed. Do like that for a laugh. And then we got stories about people that were basically pretty well off, but were essentially bitching because they might not be able to afford that particular skiing trip on a yearly basis. It's a kind of Netflix and avocado on toast thing, realistically, isn't it? Especially given the state of our current moribund economy. If you're doing well enough to be able to go abroad about 2 or 3 times a year, you're doing well enough, don't complain about it. Anyway, precious children who can't possibly go anywhere else. It reached the height of absurdity when the Telegraph published this story about a woman that was allegedly on universal credit, earning 12k a year, paying, basically about 800 quid a month in rent, and still sending her child to a private school. Yeah, I don't think so either. Really not. Anyway, we appear to have abandoned the strivers and ordinary people boo-hiss notions, and we've now just gone for, it's unworkable anyway, which I'm not really necessarily convinced about. If the rich have to pay more for their education, okay, fine. They're going to carry on doing it. It's not going to affect the top end of the market. It's going to affect lots of those kind of boarding schools, but that model of private education, as I've said here before, is on the way out. So it's neither here nor there. Plus, of course, lots and lots of schools will utilise that particular excuse to shut down, because they tend to sit in nice buildings on lovely bits of land that are worth a great deal more than kiddywinks coming in for prep. And anyway, on a wider level, course it isn't true, because we have demographic change. Yes, I know, astounding, isn't it? Yeah, people are having fewer children. And even with migrants coming here, the number of kids in school is dropping like a stone. And it's been, that kind of demographic change effectively we've known about for about 10 years. Now, you would have thought the Department of Education would have figured that if numbers going into primary schools are dropping a lot, that at some stage in the future, a few years, there'd be a fewer kids in secondary school. And they did realise that, and being the glorious under Michael Gove Department of Education they were, decided to close secondary schools. What a brilliant idea. Anyway, even with that, and notwithstanding all that kind of stuff, we still have a vast drop in the number of pupils, vastly offsetting any potential. We reckon it's about, I think the Telegraph thinks it's about 10,000 kids that are going to go, it's a lot less than 100, into the state sector. So they'll simply be very, very quickly absorbed because there are fewer kids, There's a lot fewer kids now in primary school, and that bulge that there was has basically worked its way out of the system. And we should be in a situation where we just think, okay, great, we've got fewer kids, let's resource things better. What a great idea, okay? We could have young people coming out of the system who are far, far better equipped for all of the trials and tribulations of the enormously pile of poo that is the British economy. But, oh God, no, we're not going to do that, are we? Because after all, it means that we can just make savings, Let's have classes of 40. Who cares about the kids, Anyway, they're all basically going to be unemployed. It's not like that they're important, like the kids that go to Eton or Brighton College or somewhere posh like that. No. I mean, if you can't afford to go on that skiing holiday, you don't really obviously have good genes. That should be the message we're sending to people. But we could take advantage of this demographic change if we were sensible. But we live in a country where the idea of any form of strategic planning on behalf of people is a complete anathema. And the Labour Party are as guilty of that as any previous governments before them. And it ain't going to change. It would be nice to see a real child-centred approach on education, because the kids that I work with, for example, actually respond enormously well to very positive adult inputs. Yes, even when I'm teaching them to be Marxist trend types. Even that. We could go there. But it's expensive. Good. Education should be expensive, shouldn't it? It should be. Everybody should have a decent education. Everybody should have that shot at the top, and not just simply the snivelling children of the uber wealthy, for whom life will be easy anyway. All in favour of meritocracy when it actually comes down to it. No, not for you, not for your child. No, not for you. It's not for you. But we will complain if you do anything about it, and we will suggest that the skies and heavens will fall in. They don't. And I think it's going to be an ongoing thing. Anyway, leaving all that aside, do have a glorious day. Enjoy the sunshine. And stay, tepid, I suppose. Enjoy.